Forget acknowledging land. How about we acknowledge taxpayers? Hi, I'm Brian Lilley, political columnist with the Toronto Sun. We've all seen the land acknowledgement craze that has swept politics across the country. Started in BC, started showing up elsewhere, and now at Toronto City Council, it goes on and on and on. Well, Daniel Tate, the man behind IntegrityTO, an organization trying to hold City Council and the mayor to account, showed up to a budget presentation. And, well, here's part of his taxpayer acknowledgement.
Okay, I'd like to start my deputation in a good way by acknowledging the people who fund this municipal enterprise, the Toronto taxpayer. We acknowledge that while taxpayers and property owners have endured an almost 20% increase in the last 3 years, only a small and insulated group decides how much of their income is expropriated to sustain a burgeoning municipal bureaucracy that continues to grow regardless of outcomes and results. We pay respect to those taxpayers because without them, this institution could not indulge in ideological excesses like renaming streets and public squares, painting roads with inferior and environmentally damaging red paint, nor fund harm reduction programs that result in a steady stream of drug paraphernalia littering our streets, sidewalks, parks, and playgrounds.
All right, Daniel joins me now to chat more about this. What inspired this, Daniel?
Yeah, I think taxpayers have just had enough. It's been constant performative theater in our city halls across the country, frankly. But it's been excessively overdone here in Toronto. And I think with the latest tax hike that Torontonians are going to have to endure, enough is enough. We walk in there, they are using our money for all their various different pet projects, ideology projects. And we just want my land acknowledgement was basically a message to say, let's get back to the deal. The deal is we give you a part of our hard-earned money and you provide the services we need. You provide nice parks and clean streets and good transit and safety and a beautiful city. And it feels like that bargain is not being held anymore by those in power at City Hall. So I wanted to go in there and remind them who they work for, who's funding the entire operation. And that's what I think I did successfully with my acknowledgement.
I've seen video. As I watched the video, you can see Councillor Gord Perks looked like he was chairing the meeting. He's very uncomfortable with what you're saying. Councillor Chris Moyse, who's my councillor here in Toronto Centre, looking very uncomfortable with what you were saying. Did you get a reaction from either one of them after you finished that acknowledgement?
They did not ask me any questions. I was fully ready to field any questions from them, but it looked like they had no interest in engaging me or getting entangled with me. But they looked fairly disinterested throughout the course of the entire budget meeting. I was there for several hours. Gord Perks specifically on many occasions was lost in his phone while citizens were pouring their hearts out to him about various different issues. And he just seemed completely uninterested. And same for Moyse. Moyse did engage a couple times to his credit, but it really felt like a box checking session. That was the feeling I got.
By acknowledging first that the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations.
So, look, the whole land acknowledgement thing went viral with Shelley Carroll being posted by big American conservative accounts and saying this is what happens in Canada. And she, one of her really long land acknowledgements. But haven't you caught her shopping at these meetings, doing online shopping in the past? Do these councillors even pay attention when citizens are showing up? And do they even care what citizens have to say?
Many Toronto City councillors, especially those who've been in office for decades at this point, have just completely lost the plot. It's they don't even pretend to seem interested anymore. Shelley Carroll, as the example you just gave, caught online shopping on the clock during I think it was executive committee. Board Perks was caught by other citizens playing online chess at a previous meeting. Then you have people like Moise, of course, who have no filter and think it's appropriate to insult constituents like me, which is what happened a couple of years ago with the Dundas debacle. So this goes to show that our city councilors, our leadership class, do not respect us. They don't respect our money. And I think now it's time for people to really wake up and understand that the city needs change.
Well, talk about respect for taxpayers. Shelley Carroll, who, as I said, helped inspire some of this with the viral land acknowledgement. She was first elected to city council about, not quite 25 years ago. And she resigned from council in 2018 to run for the Ontario Liberal Party under Kathleen Wynne. Why she thought that was going to be a good idea and that she could win in Don Valley back then, I don't know. But because she resigned, she got $114,307 in severance pay, lost in the provincial election that June, then ran again for her city council seat, won it, and kept the severance pay that she got. I mean, does anybody have respect for taxpayer funds at Toronto City Hall?
Yeah, that's completely outrageous, and is a perfect example of the wasteful spending that happens at City Hall. And this is why IntegrityTO has called for audits across many different divisions, because it's not fair, and it's just, again, disrespectful to public money that a elected official can try to run for the province, lose, take a severance, come back to the city and keep the severance, essentially double dipping. That's not fair. It's not ethical. And that's why people like Shelley Carroll need to be held to account. And then just regards to the land acknowledgements, again, is these land acknowledgements are becoming more entrenched at City Hall. They're doubling down on them and they're adding more scope to them. As you've seen yourself, they're adding African ancestral acknowledgements, trying to suggest that Canada participated in the transatlantic slave trade. So now they're veering into actual historical revisionism, and they're expanding these acknowledgements across the city bureaucracy. So I think a lot of people are saying enough is enough.
On the African ancestral acknowledgement, they say that we acknowledge that people were brought here, meaning Ontario, against their will. That was very few people. Ontario banned slavery, I believe, 1793. Slaves that were already here were, not freed, but within a couple of decades, that was done away with. It was eradicated, making it sound like we were a big part of the transatlantic slave trade is historic revisionism. It is completely false. And it just feels like the people at City Hall want us to feel guilty about everything. We should wear a hair shirt, sit in ashes, and think about what we've done or what was done hundreds of years ago.
Yeah, it's very disturbing. It's very off-putting every time I have to endure it when I watch city meetings. And the concern is that it's also demoralizing for a lot of city employees, because I have people on the inside, just your regular rank and file city workers, who are now saying that they have to go through these weird rituals for regular meetings on the inside, Parks and Recreation, other departments. So this is not limited to just major meetings like executive committee or city council. This is now being entrenched deep within the city bureaucracy. It has a bad effect.
Civil servants are doing this in meetings with each other. What is the point? What is the point of any of it? Does it accomplish anything? Does it improve the lives of any citizens? And I would say no.
Yeah, I would say at best, it's just performative theater. At worst, it's part of a larger agenda. What is that agenda? Why is this being ad nauseum? These messages being, why are we having to deal with this? And it's fairly a new phenomenon. It's only been, I think, the last 7 or 8 years. And then also you can look at it from the time perspective. If somebody actually quantified over the year how much time and productivity was lost to all these, incessant land acknowledgements, I'm sure it would be a big number. And maybe that's my next project, is to do the math on that.
All right. Well, thanks for bringing us the taxpayer acknowledgement. Definitely lots of people enjoying that. Daniel Tate, thanks so much for your time.
Thanks, Brian.
Let us know what you think. Drop a comment down below. Share this on social media. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel.